because it's not okay to, violate laws of this country. You got to remember, every time you enter this country illegally, you violated a crime under Title 8, United States Code 1325. It's a crime. So if you're in the country illegally, you got a problem. And that's why I'm hoping those who are in the country illegally who have not been ordered removed by the federal judge should leave.
Firm message there from Border Czar Tom Homan on one of the Sunday talk shows over the weekend, throwing down the gauntlet. He was in Chicago over the weekend as federal agents began their targeted immigration enforcement operations in the Democrat-run city. Joining us now is Kata Truss, a Chicago resident. Kata, thank you for coming back on. And your reaction to what you saw happening in your city after speaking up about this as long as you have.
She's from Chicago
over the
turned
weekend.
red.
My reaction has been somewhat excitement, but then also, you can't see this happening and not have your heart hurt for some of the people who are going to be deported. And that's for the people who are hardworking, people who have come to this country. Now, those criminals who came here, which is what Tom Homan is targeting right now, we feel good about the fact that they're being taken back to their countries and taken out of our neighborhoods. We are already dealing with high crime. And so it's good to know that someone has our back. I've been listening to our mayor and our governor the last couple of days, basically doubling down on not even being willing to assist in helping them to get criminals out of our community. And one of the things that you'll hear Mayor Brandon Johnson say, that crime is down in the city of Chicago. I live approximately 3 blocks from the mayor, and my husband was carjacked in front of our house on Monday. So I don't need to hear people talking to me about how we're being insensitive to other people when we're fighting our own issues right here in our community. And so to compile those with criminals from other places is unacceptable.
Yeah, well,
listen here, bro. I don't believe that you got your husband's car didn't get carjacked from a migrant, though. Can we talk about that? Can we talk about that, Chicago? Before all these migrants was coming, y'all was still shooting each other up in the streets. I've been covering this for over a year now. I know how y'all do it in Chicago, especially in the South Side. It don't even matter because y'all like to bring it out of the South Side too. Can we talk about that? Don't get me wrong. I like what they doing with the criminals. I understand what they doing with the criminals. I feel bad for those two that are, just trying to seek asylum, that tried to get here, but all that stuff is done now. I understand. I do feel bad. But what about the kids that are killing themselves in the streets of Chicago every day? Every week. When are y'all gonna do something about that? I feel like that's more of a crisis than this immigration. Honestly. And yeah, immigration may have part to do with it, but y'all are having wars, literal wars out there in these streets. Just my opinion.
We're excited about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, as you know, the administration has said, and you heard Tom Homan there, these initial arrests and deportations are targeted. They are going after criminals, known criminals, and those who have obviously committed illegal acts, even have ties to gangs. To your point, this is the mayor of your city, Brandon Johnson, defiant. Listen.
We are a welcoming city, and we are a sanctuary city. We are a sanctuary and welcoming state. That has not changed because of who won the election. And that's not going to change. Any of the measures that the president is looking to execute against working people in the city of Chicago, we will defend our city. It's just that simple.
Are there any Chicago residents who are opposed to this administration coming in and taking out and sending back those who have criminal backgrounds, are wanted for criminal acts, or even worse, have violent ties to gangs?
I'm sure that they're not. And I'm sure that you'll hear people say that there are people who are opposed to it. But for the majority of the citizens here in Chicago, we're not opposed to it. Let me tell you something. Our mayor is intent on protecting people who come from other places. We need our mayor to be intent on protecting the people who were born here, the people who were raised here, the people who have stakes. And not that those people don't have stakes in these communities, but for those of us who have been fighting tirelessly to bring about change in our communities and have been told time after time again that there's no money, and to watch billions being spent on people who are not from here is a problem for most of Chicago. And it must be a problem for most of the country, because you can tell that in the way that people voted.
Yeah,
and
we hear the frustration and the urgency in your voice, and the numbers back up your concern. This is the total number of migrants in your city that have come in through December 18th. The influx topping 51,000. Just to give people an idea of what this...
Bro, do you see the numbers? Do y'all see the numbers? You see how much money they're spending on people that don't live here? People that are trying to live here? Like, I get it. I get it. Y'all are trying to have people come here. You're trying to help out. You're trying to have them be American citizens. You're trying to push for it. I get it. It's a good cause. It's a good mindset. But it's the wrong way about doing it. This is not fair. It's not fair. And for an American mayor to stand up there in front of thousands of Chicagoans and say, we're going to put these people first instead of what you guys actually voted for, Chicago almost turned red. Chicago was red. Illinois was red. Illinois was super red. A lot of places were super red. And it was because of a huge crisis that they were tired of. And they still are tired of. They feel like nobody's listening to them, not even their own mayor. He ran on, we're not going to raise property taxes. What is he saying this year? Property taxes got to go up. He ran on Chicago first. Now we're seeing it's actually migrants first. He ran on, we going to bring down the crime in the streets. Chicago going to eat. What is happening? Crime is getting worse and worse by the day. People are losing jobs. People are moving out of Chicago. This is sad. It's honestly, it's sad. Well, let's finish this off.
City of Chicago has been dealing with, and to your point about the spending and how much this is costing the city in just a 2-year period, just over a 2-year period, $630 million. And Kata, I know you have been pointing out all that money that is being taken away from improving the school situation, the healthcare system. Obviously, the streets are dealing with a lot of crime. Final thought from you.
Come on, man.
Final thoughts are, Tom Homan, you are welcome. I voted for President Trump. And let me tell you something. I was one of those lifelong Democrats. I started voting at 18, voted in every election, voted Democrat in every election except this last one, because I'm just tired. I'm tired of the same old thing happening from the Democratic Party.
Me too,
I'm
man.
so glad that President Trump is now delivering on some of his promises. I heard Stephen Smith ask this earlier on Bill Maher's what has the Democrats delivered for us lately?
That is an important message and an important question right now. Kata, thank you so much, and always good to talk to you. And Tom Homan will be joining us live at 1 o'clock on America.
Listen, man, shout out to Kata, shout out to Chicago. I do plan on going to Chicago this year. I would like to visit there for the first time. I'm definitely not going to the South Side, but I would go to Chicago just to say I went. I feel like Chicago has so much potential to be great. I feel like they're beautiful. It's a beautiful city, I've heard. A very, very beautiful city. And it's just a matter of cleaning up. cleaning up your streets, cleaning up the crime, cleaning up the migrants that are there, and making the people appreciate who they have in office. Because it seems like for the last couple of years, y'all have been struggling with leadership. Honestly, y'all have been struggling. That's why the crime is going how it wants to be. That's why people are doing what they want to do in the streets to each other. And nobody's addressing it. Young teenage kids, young adults are dying constantly. Constantly. And that is not okay. That is not okay. And that should be one of the main priorities for Chicago and the mayor. How can we keep the taxes down? How can we keep the crime down? How can we start saving lives in these streets? Because y'all are losing kids. Y'all are losing young kids. Let me know y'all thoughts about this down in the comments below. I'd really like to know y'all thoughts. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate y'all viewership. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Smash that like button for your boy. I appreciate y'all viewership. I really do. Also, man, if y'all are new, smash that subscribe button too, man. Until next time, it's your boy Dgotsauce. You already know, man. Peace.